The silver shuttle cut through the darkness like a falling star, its hull reflecting the swirling nebulae of Sector 17. Mira Chen leaned forward, nose pressed to the porthole. Her knuckles were white where she gripped the armrest. First contact was old news now. Aliens walked among humans on Luna and the Martian colonies, but this was something new. The Procyon outpost had stopped sending clear transmissions 6 days ago. Its last image was a blur of shifting light. The Solar Federation had called for the best, and apparently that meant her. "First time off Earth?" the pilot asked, breaking the silence. His name badge read Lancaster. "I grew up on the moon," Mira shot back, forcing a calm she didn't feel. "You ever seen Procyon Station?" "Only on hollows. Not much to see, till now." A ripple of unease ran through Mira. She reviewed the briefing in her mind. Nearby asteroid miners reported shapes moving on the station's hull, strange music drifting through the comm channels. No words, only pulses of color and tones. No known syntactic pattern. The Federation had called it an art code. Their shuttle docked with a spine-jarring shudder. Lancaster keyed the doors. Red emergency lights painted the metal halls. Mira stepped out, her boots echoing. Something sang through the walls, a low hum vibrating her bones. She made her way to the central gallery, following the map on her wristpad. There, floating above the terminal, hovered a prism of shifting light. Blue spirals curled and vanished. Yellow shards darted through the hologram like dancers. The room felt colder than it should have, and the music pulsed in the back of her skull. Her first impulse was awe. Her second was pure, hungry curiosity. A voice crackled on the speaker. "Mira Chen, please report. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" It was Dr. Gavril, the project lead, his nerves clear even through static. "I am," she replied, watching her own reflection swim in the holographic lights. "But I'm not sure what I'm seeing, or if it's seeing me." Then the lights snapped, realigned, and spelled something she never expected. A pattern so familiar it made her chest ache. The Fibonacci sequence, glowing in alien blue. A message, it had to be. Lancaster's voice, softer now, cut through the room. "What do you think they want, Chen?" She took a shaky breath, heart pounding. "I think they're asking to be understood, and if we don't answer, we might never get another chance." Above her, the colors twisted. The alien art song began again, urgent and wild. And for the first time in her life, Mira felt that the stars themselves might be trying to warn her of something. The vibrations in the walls grew sharper, pushing against Mira's thoughts as she recorded everything with her wristpad. Her mind raced through formulas and ancient languages, theories of sound and shape. Across the room, Dr. Gavril's gaunt hologram flickered. "Chen, what's your take?" he asked. His voice dropped as a second figure stepped into view. A sinewy Thyran, forearms folded, amber eyes never blinking. The Thyrans were humanity's first allies, but even they looked shaken. Mira cleared her throat. "The pattern's mathematical, a sequence rooted in life itself. It's deeper than language." The Thyran, called Keela, inclined her head, feathered crest trembling. "This message? It uses beauty. Perhaps it fears words will fail." Lancaster watched the lights, his voice tight. "Could be a warning. What if it's telling us to stay away?" Mira shook her head. "There's more to it. These colors, they're not random. They repeat, but shift with the sound." She let her finger hover above the holographic sequence, hesitating. "We should try to communicate back." Gavril hesitated. "That's risky. If we misunderstand, who knows what they'll do?" Keela interjected, voice barely above a whisper. "To be strangers is to be vulnerable, but silence breeds fear. We must choose." Mira's voice was steady now. "I know fear, but I know curiosity too. Let's try." She mimicked the Fibonacci spiral with the station's interface, programming her own wave of gentle blue and gold pulses. Her hands shook, but the gesture was clear, acknowledgement, respect. The hologram paused for a heart-thudding moment, the music dropping to a hush. Suddenly it responded. The images shifted, new patterns blooming, spirals splitting into fractures, hues melting into sharp reds and sickly greens. The tones became discordant. Mira's veins froze. Lancaster leaned in, voice low. "That can't be good, right?" She shook her head, eyes never leaving the fracturing light show. "No, it's changed. Something is coming. It's trying to show us. Something breaking. Something big." The Thyran's feathers flattened in alarm. The anomaly, perhaps? The gallery lights flickered. Alarms whined through the hull. Outside, the viewports darkened. Mira's mouth went dry. Barely a minute into real contact, and already the universe was trying to break her open, and maybe if she was wrong, everyone else as well. Mira stared at the dissonant swirl, her breath catching as the room thumped with warning klaxons. Through the hull, some far-off gravitational tumult strained the outpost. Procyon was groaning, trembling, as if the station itself felt the message's urgency. Lancaster tapped the communicator, voice pinched. "Control, this is Procyon Gallery. We've got anomalous readings and visual disturbances in main hollow. Do you copy?" Fuzz and silence answered. The station's link to the outside world was gone. Mira's skin prickled. For the briefest second, she saw her reflection among the jarring hologram, shattered, fractal, warped by reds and greens. The Thyron, Keela, extended a delicate limb toward Mira. Your response changed the art song. Their warning grows sharper. Dr. Gavril's hologram coughed, blipping in and out. "Mira, can you decode it? We need to know what's coming." She shook her head. "It's not words. It's emotion, magnitude, math." She drew on all she'd studied, music as language, color as code. Mira reached into her wristpad's archives, overlaying the live symbols with every algorithm she knew. Still, they shifted too quickly, the beauty now dangerous. A tremor snapped the room sideways as the station's artificial gravity faltered. Lancaster grabbed Mira's elbow, steadying her. "Do you think we angered them?" Mira considered, sweat beading at her brow. "Not anger. Desperation. They need us to understand." She glanced at Keela. "Can your people sense something we can't?" The Thyron closed her eyes, crest drooping. A sorrow behind the colors. Loss. A plea. Suddenly, an icy whisper echoed through the open corridor. The alien art song's reds and greens began collapsing inward, forming the image of a dark sphere, its edges frayed and flickering. Lancaster murmured, "That's it, the cosmic anomaly. They're showing us where." Mira's mind raced, assembling the broken symbols and fractured harmonies. It wasn't just a warning. It was a map, a trajectory. She held her breath. The sphere was headed right for Federation space. She turned, fire kindling in her chest. "They need us to see what they can't explain. This is bigger than just first contact." Gavril's image flickered desperately. "Then make them trust us, Chen. We only survive together." Every instinct screamed at Mira to back down, but she set her jaw. Stranger, underdog. She faced the broken hologram, heart pounding. Let's find out if we can turn fear into hope before it's too late. They worked through the night, piecing together meanings from the alien lights and sounds. Still, dread hovered at the edges. The station trembled once more, and Mira wiped sweat from her brow as she tweaked her translation program. Data spilled across her display, a patchwork of threads, glows, and musical intervals that defied easy logic. Lancaster hovered nearby, brow furrowed with worry. "How's it looking, Chen? Any progress?" Surprise flickered through Mira. "Yes, a little. The reds and greens, they cycle, always in threes before returning to blue. And here," she pointed at a sequence where the sound dipped, then rose in warning. "That's the same spot as before. It repeats every time the anomaly gets closer on their map." Keela, shifting uneasily, spoke up. "My people recall legends, ancient threats sung by stars. Sometimes the answer is found inside the song, not the melody." Mira caught that spark. "Inside the song, maybe the dissonance itself holds meaning." She set the pattern to visual mode, analyzing not just what was present, but what was missing. Silent gaps, sudden drops. Each time the red flashed, a beat of silence followed. She felt herself drawing closer as if understanding was just a grip away. Lancaster watched the shifting map. "Whatever's coming, it's accelerating. You think this message could tell us how to stop it?" "Maybe." Mira's voice cracked under tension, or at least how to survive it. A shadow passed over the gallery as another vibration rippled through the hull. Mira steadied herself as she projected a cautious response. Open blue spirals, a gentle melody, inviting rather than demanding. The alien structure responded in turn. Slowly, tentatively, a soft green halo surrounded the anomaly in the hologram, like a shield, or Keela's eyes widened. Protection, not destruction. The answer is joint effort, harmonics, not force. Gavril's form reappeared, breathless. "If there's a chance we can build this shield, we'll need every mind we can reach, alien and human both." Mira nodded at her reflection, transformed by hope and responsibility. She wasn't just a linguist anymore, she was the bridge. She straightened, her voice firm with new resolve. "Then we convince both sides. We don't have much time, and if I have to carry the message myself, I will." The lights in the gallery shifted, less chaotic, as if they approved. Mira's fears faded just a bit as a plan began to form. She would have to face her greatest challenge yet, uniting two worlds on the brink before the storm reached them all. The next morning, Mira barely recognized herself in the refraction of the outpost's polished steel walls. She'd slept an hour, maybe less. The artificial sunrise blinked over Procyon's battered systems as she reviewed her proposal, hands shaking with exhaustion and fear. The stakes had never been higher. Unite two civilizations or watch them fall apart just as the anomaly arrived. Lancaster appeared with two steaming mugs, offering one quietly. "You look like you could use this." She managed a wry smile. "If we make it through this, I owe you a real cup on Earth." He leaned against the console, gaze serious. "You ready to talk to both delegations?" "Ready as I'll ever be." Mira squared her shoulders. It was time. Down in the comms amphitheater, a circle of Federation envoys blinked in by hollow link, humans from every background, jittery and confused. Keela's Thyran kin joined from the gallery's periphery, their feathers fluttering. The alien artists, makers of the holographic warning, shimmered in the center, floating like sunlight on water, tense and silent. Mira stood between them all as she spoke, voice echoing. "You've all seen the message. The cosmic anomaly is real. It's coming. Our only hope is to combine our knowledge, Federation science, Thyran tradition, and the mysterious art song here, to form a harmonic shield. We cannot do it alone." A human delegate frowned. "We barely understand their language. How can we trust what we can't interpret?" A Thyran artist fluted softly, its tone uncertain. "And why risk our art? The shield could break the very harmony that keeps us safe." Mira moved with nervous energy, her gaze sweeping the room. "When I first came to this outpost, I was terrified. I felt lost and small. But fear is the language of separation. Curiosity is the language of hope. We are strangers, but not enemies. If we work together, our odds improve. If we keep silent or divided, we all lose." Keela nodded, feathers brightening. "Mira Chen has looked into the unknown and listened. We must do the same or sing our last song." Lancaster's voice cut in, gentle but firm. "My vote is yes. Trust isn't easy, but it's better than waiting for the end." One by one, voices murmured assent. Not unanimous, not without fear, but enough to begin. Mira glanced back at the alien artists, who now shifted their holograms into patterns of dawn light and hopeful chords. The first layer of trust, fragile but real, floated between them. With a deep breath, Mira took the next step, uploading the patterns, mapping out the harmonics, the work of scientists, translators, and amid them all, a human who dared to bridge the unknown. Outside the station, invisible but nearer every hour, the anomaly's shadow thickened. Mira's doubts returned, but she forced herself forward. The universe would never wait for her to be fearless. She would go on anyway. Procyon Outpost's core was alive with motion. Human engineers, Thyran harmonicists, and the shimmering alien artists each taking a place around the looming holotable. Blinking lights trailed across every display, calculations, music notations, and swirling predictions of the anomaly's approach. At the head of it all, Mira controlled the translation program, a lifeline forged in artistry and mathematics. Lancaster sidled up, offering a tense grin. "Looks like you started a revolution, Chen." She smiled shakily. "Let's hope it turns out better than the last one in this sector." A Federation scientist called over, worry creasing his face. "Mira, the math works in theory, but the harmonics aren't matching. Without both, the shield won't synchronize." Keela bent over the table, claws tapping. "Your calculations miss the music's pulse. The song isn't just numbers, it is feeling." Mira replayed the original alien art song, immersing herself in its rhythm and colors until her mind felt raw. What if Keela was right? The patterns only made sense when she let herself feel the sorrow and hope between the beats. "Maybe we're too focused on reducing it," Mira said quietly. "Let's try to amplify. Lancaster, pull up the overlay, with full resonance." He keyed it in, and the station's old hull rang softly as artificial resonance suffused the room. For a breathless second, the frequencies lined up. Colors, music, numbers. A perfectly synchronized shield model glowing blue-green above their heads. The alien artists flared with light, voice tones finally blending into the harmony. Keela's crest shivered in awe. "It matches! Together we could weave the shield." But just as hope sparked, the outpost trembled, and the blue-green shield began to fray at its edges. Error alarms blared, and the shield collapsed into discord. A technician shouted, "There's interference! Something from the anomaly is breaking the signal." Lancaster clenched his jaw. "Is it adapting? Sabotaging us on purpose?" Mira shook her head, fear clawing at her nerves. "No, it's more like..." Her eyes darted between the screen and the alien artists. "It's calling out for help too. The anomaly isn't just a force, it's alive somehow, and it's scared." Keela leaned in, urgent. "If that is true, our art song may save not just ourselves, but the anomaly itself." Mira's voice steadied, burning with new determination. "Then that's what we do. We don't just shield our worlds, we try to reach the heart of what's coming. We show even the cosmic stranger we can be understood." The room buzzed with cautious energy. Even in the pit of fear, Mira found her courage rising. This wasn't the end. Not yet. The anomaly's whisper grew louder, tides of gravity and quantum static warping the very light outside Procyon's viewports. Days blurred with frantic work. Mira barely slept, haunted by the sense that each attempt to build the shield brought humanity closer to something vast and trembling in the dark. Midway through another failed synchronization test, Mira watched the alien artists spin a new motif. Threads of gold woven through sorrowful blue. She felt as if they were painting with longing itself. Keela approached quietly, feathers dim but voice steady. "You look defeated." "I'm exhausted," Mira admitted. "It's like every time we get close, we're still missing something." Lancaster entered, juggling 2 datapads. "Transmission from Federation Command. They want an update for the Security Council. Threat levels up to black." Mira pressed her palms against her eyes, then nodded. "I'll handle it." She joined the call, her face a pale rectangle on a grid of anxious leaders. General Iskander's steel-hard eyes bored through the static. "Miss Chen, we've invested everything in the shield. If it fails, fallback is evacuation. You have 36 hours. As the feed blinked out, Mira felt the pressure crash over her. She leaned against the holotable, feeling utterly outmatched. "They think we're wasting time," she said. "But I know this is the only way." Keela stood beside her, offering one gentle hand. "Do you trust yourself, Mira Chen?" Mira looked up, surprise flickering in her weary eyes. "I don't know. I keep thinking about when I first started, how small and lost I felt." Keela smiled faintly. "All wisdom comes from beginning as a stranger, even to oneself." A sudden idea sparked. Mira dashed to her station, cross-referencing the holographic motifs with emotional resonance from her own memories. Times of loneliness, wonder, grief, and hope. The deeper her own feelings, the more clearly the alien song meshed with the shield model. "It's not just science or art," she whispered. "It's empathy. If I put myself into the pattern, and everyone else does too, we can reach it." She called the team together, shared her revelation, and asked everyone, human, Thyran, even the reserved Federation scientists, to contribute their own personal motifs. In moments the air bristled with the soft glow of hundreds of stories, woven into the harmony. Something shifted in the music. The outpost's lights faded to a gentle hum. For the first time the anomaly's presence felt, less like a threat, more like a lost voice searching for home. Lancaster's eyes widened as he watched the readings. "Mira, you did it. It's listening." For the first time, Mira didn't feel alone at all, and the universe felt smaller and more possible than ever before. The glow of hope at Procyon shimmered throughout the outpost, as if the very walls pulsed with the collective memory and emotion stirring the art song shield. Mira was everywhere, coaxing engineers to hum their childhood lullabies, inviting Thyran elders to add ancestral refrains, narrating her own stories of grief and wonder for the alien artists to translate into threads of light. Lancaster found her in the secondary comms room, hunched over a tangle of holograms and notation. "You haven't left this room in hours," he said. He offered her a ration bar and a smile, eyes gentle. "We're in the final stretch, aren't we?" She flashed a fragile grin, taking the bar. "I think so, but if I'm wrong, we'll all know soon." On the main deck, Keela and several Thyran harmonicists circled the holotable, tuning the song's core frequency. Sparks of silvery energy floated from the alien artists as the shield stabilized and expanded, blue and gold threads stretching out from Procyon into the dark beyond. Suddenly, alarms blared. The anomaly was accelerating, drawn to the emotional resonance like a moth to flame. The holoscreen filled with fractal clouds, its core darker and more turbulent than before. General Iskander's voice crackled through the comlink. Miss Chen, time's up. Extraction teams are standing by. Is your shield operational, yes or no? Mira's throat tightened. We're not ready yet. I just need... No more time, Chen. If it breaches, Procyon goes into full lockdown. That's an order. Keela looked to Mira, feathers raised in sharp alarm. Do not abandon the bridge. If we flee, all hope ends. Lancaster locked eyes with Mira. Do you believe in this, in us? Mira's answer was clear, even if it costs me everything. She bent to the console, hands shaking but determined, and doubled the resonance output, pouring her own memories, her fear, her curiosity, her hard-won hope, into the shield program. So did Keela, Lancaster, and then one by one, every soul on the outpost. The art song swelled into a symphony, vibrating from Procyon into the deep. The anomaly's edge brushed the shield. The outpost shuddered, lights flaring, comms flickering. Mira felt its presence, not a mind but a feeling, a storm of ancient loneliness colliding with the outpouring of story and song. For a breathless moment, time itself seemed to stop. The shield glowed, then bent around the anomaly, shimmering with the collective force of 1,000 lives. The anomaly hesitated, its darkness trembling. Keela caught Mira's hand. Hold on, it sees us. Outside, the unknown hovered, waiting, listening, as the fate of both worlds spun on a thread of light and sound. Everything went silent. The outpost's alarms faded, and the chamber's only sound was the heartbeat of the art song, a web of music, memory, and light flowing from Procyon out into the void. Mira watched the readings, every muscle tight, as the anomaly hovered just beyond the shield, its swirling mass haloed by blue and gold threads. On the hollow screen, the cosmic storm trembled, its chaotic form flickering between dark and light. It pressed against the shield, not with brute force, but with a kind of uncertain curiosity. Mira took a steadying breath, feeling the pressure rise in her skull as a flood of alien sorrow surged into the room. Echoes of ages adrift, stories without words, lost stretching back before human memory. Keela squeezed Mira's shoulder. It sings in pain, lonely as the edge of time. Lancaster's voice was quiet for once. We can't let it consume us. We have to give it something it's never had. Mira nodded, her voice trembling but resolute. Connection. The team responded instinctively, weaving their stories deeper into the resonance. Memories of love, hope, laughter, and loss, the bonds that made their lives worth living. The alien artists amplified the song's beauty, blending ancient galactic motifs with the raw, honest heartbeat of humanity and Thyran emotion. Suddenly, the anomaly's shadow surged forward, enveloping the shield with its storm. The resonance peaked, and Mira cried out as a vision exploded across her mind. She stood on the edge of a cosmic sea, reaching out to a silhouette made of stars. The entity tried to retreat, but she held fast, offering her memories, every struggle, every victory, every moment of grace. The cosmic figure shimmered, its darkness shot through with threads of gold and blue. Mira felt, deep within herself, the anomaly's desperate yearning for home. Back in the outpost, lights flickered wildly as the last of the song crested. The shield wavered, straining as it took the full weight of the anomaly's sorrow and longing. Mira, Keela, and Lancaster repeated the refrain, voices harmonizing with the alien artists, refusing to let go. Then something shifted. The anomaly's presence became less jagged, its fractal edge smoothing. New patterns shimmered across its surface. Echoes of the shield's motifs mirrored and transformed, as if the anomaly itself was trying for the first time to answer. Keela gasped. It speaks through the harmony. It wants to reconcile, not destroy. General Iskander, his voice patched through the shaky comm, sounded awed. What's happening, Mira? Mira's smile was tired, but brighter than ever. We're not just surviving, we're teaching it how to belong. The team steadied the resonance, now working together in perfect synchrony, as the art song and the anomaly blended into a new, tentative refrain. The outcome was far from certain. The shield still throbbed under the weight, the universe still watched, but for the first time there was more hope than fear. The anomaly, once a cosmic stranger, hovered in the music's embrace, listening, and just maybe learning. As the new dawn spread across Procyon, Mira gathered her team for what could be their final greatest act, to bridge the last chasm between worlds and offer the universe something it had never known, a symphony of strangers who refused to give up on each other. Dawn over Procyon broke in a wash of gold and rose, reflecting off the outpost's battered hull. Inside, every eye, human, Thyran, and alien artist, fixed on the sylph-like pattern in the center of the holotable, where the anomaly's image spun, flickering, no longer chaotic, but gently harmonizing with the shield's light. Mira's heart hammered as she moved among her exhausted team. The art song was different now, its melody full of grief and wonder, a living memory of every story woven into it. Wordlessly, Keela stood beside her, radiating a strange, joyful pride. Lancaster's smile trembled. The shield was holding, but the pressure was building. Its resonance stretched to the breaking point as the anomaly experimented with harmony, learning and responding with dazzling speed. "Is it singing back?" Lancaster whispered. Mira nodded, awe overtaking her fatigue. "It's trying. Every time it echoes us, it stabilizes a little more." The anomaly's chaotic energy faded, replaced by patterns reminiscent of human lullabies, Thyran victory chants, and the new flourishes of the alien artists. It was a patchwork, a tapestry of difference, held together by fragile understanding. Suddenly a tension built in the harmony, a moment of risk. The shield shimmered, edges blurring. "It's giving us the last of its sorrow," Keela said, barely above a whisper. "We must answer." Mira reached out through the resonance, channeling every failure she remembered, every fear she carried, but also the hopes she'd fought for. "You are not alone. We are here. We choose to understand. We choose to welcome you." Her message thrummed outward, and this time the anomaly's presence brightened, a pulse of gratitude and fragile joy. Slowly it eased from the shield, its energy reshaped by the song that Mira and her companions had built. On the holoscreens, relief swept the faces of the Federation Council, Thyran elders, and alien artists alike. General Iskander, no longer just the harbinger of deadlines, managed a tight, honest smile. "The anomaly's energy levels are stabilizing. It's changed. Your risk saved us all, Mira." But Mira shook her head gently. "Not just me. All of us. Every voice, every story. We met the unknown, and we made it less lonely." Keela wrapped her arms around Mira in a feather-light embrace, and even Lancaster looked on the verge of tears. The outpost filled with cheers, relief, and a newfound sense of kinship that cut through all boundaries, species, language, even the barriers of fear. The anomaly drifted away from Procyon, its presence still felt, but peaceful. Through the open comms it left behind a signature of harmonic light, a new song echoing out across the Federation's edge, a beacon for every stranger in the stars. Later, as exhaustion weighed her down, Mira stood in the silent gallery, watching the last ripples ebb away. The task was not over. New mysteries would come, new strangers would arrive, but now she knew. Unity was possible, and the universe, vast and wild and filled with unknowns, was also filled with hope. She whispered her promise into the starlit void. "I'll keep listening." And the stars themselves, shimmering with resonance, seemed to sing back in reply.